It's an exciting time at University of California, Berkeley, in the athletic department, in the football program. We've been able to go out and identify our next football head coach. Very excited as to who he is and what he stands for, but more so, and what's very important for us, is that this really creates true alignment as far as the university is concerned. Our chancellor is an undergraduate alum, general manager is an undergraduate alum, as now is our head football coach, an undergraduate alum. The three of us all have like minds in terms of where we believe the university can be as far as our football program is, because we already know that we are number one as far as a public institution in the United States. So with that, I want to bring up Tosh Lupoi, our head coach, Cal football.
Appreciate it, sir.
Oh, congratulations.
No doubt.
Smile.
That's right. All right. Awesome.
Well, I'm extremely humbled and blessed to be here on this stage. I think it gets thrown around a little too loosely at times as far as a dream job, but it's a little bit different when you've been through it, you've walked up that hill from Clark Kerr, you've competed on that field, you've competed in those business classes, and all the chairs that you're sitting in right now feel like that you contributed over a decades of time of work, that you contributed just a little piece of that awesome puzzle that puts us in this place today. So extremely blessed, thankful for this opportunity. I want to thank first off Rich Lyons and Ron Rivera here, unbelievable leaders. Every career decision that I've made, really dating back about the last 12 years of my 20-year coaching career, have been based off of growth. And I think this opportunity to come in, the two-time NFL Coach of the Year, a proven elite leader in Ron, and to attack this as a collaborative effort to produce something that everyone's extremely proud of. That's what absolutely fires me up, motivated me to the point of last night ultimately making the final decision to come here and really respect the process that was taken because of the elite organization that I'm coming from, having the leadership there and the players that I was blessed to coach put me in an amazing position to have quite a few opportunities in this off cycle to be the head coach, and ultimately it showed me the process that they took to do this, how thorough it was, evaluating myself, other options, just everything about it led to me wanting to do this over any other opportunity that I was afforded. So I'm extremely blessed and thankful. Appreciate that. My queen is in here somewhere, I think, unless she left. Jordan, in the back. Just want to special thanks to her. Unbelievable woman, unbelievable mother, unbelievable tennis player, and what she's done for our family to allow me to passionately coach the way I do, and play a major difference in the academic and character foundation of men. Couldn't be more thankful for her and her presence every day of my life. Also want to just give thanks to the many leaders that have led me to this point and have changed my life, from Coach Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Raheem Morris, Dan Quinn, Urban Meyer, and of course Dan Lanning. The leadership that have afforded me this opportunity to ultimately continue to build my identity to lead to this point, along with Rob Mullins and Phil Knight, just some integral individuals that I greatly respect, and excited for the future here to attack this process with this organization. I'm a homegrown young man, native to the Bay. My mama's from Oakland. Spent many days in that great city. I've lived under 2 roofs in an Oakland area code. I was started out life in Hayward, Concord, Walnut Creek, spent many summers in Pittsburgh, Antioch, El Cerrito. This is home to me, and ultimately I'm a diehard Cal Bear. And for myself to have this opportunity and be on this stage is an extremely humbling experience, and something I'm so thankful for to go attack this dream job of mine. I think what's really important is expressing the vision of this place, and ultimately, attacking this with a process-oriented organization, and that's exactly what we're going to do. You're not going to hear me make any guarantees of the end results. I think that's ultimately going to be how we attack the process together, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do that with a growth mindset. And everything we do, I'm going to be encouraging and enforcing as the head coach here, is how we go about our business is to grow and to challenge every young man, just like I challenge myself every day, to not have a fixed mindset, but rather a growth mindset, and how we can improve on a daily basis as we get started here. And couldn't be more excited to go attack that. I think ultimately the goal here is to be the most connected team in college football, and to create a unified group that ultimately is going to be preparing and competing for something much bigger than just themselves. And if we can accomplish those and then go to attack our culture together, I think we could become an extremely dangerous organization. All with the understanding and keeping at the forefront of how important it is to attack our academics, to establish and continue the standard that's been set here, and I'm going to stand up in front of these young men every day and say, I promise you, it wasn't because my intelligence level of becoming an undergrad here and then having the opportunity to attack the master's education program as well. And it wasn't because of my intelligence, it was because of my relentless effort, to have that opportunity. So if I can do it, I promise any player can do it. And that's going to be the approach every day of representing this university with high esteem and that balance of life. Any questions?
Jim, right in front.
Jim McGill with Barron Cider. Tosh, your story could be a movie script. I mean, grew up in Walnut Creek, played at De La Salle, never lost a game, came here in 2000 as an 18-year-old, grad student, grad assistant, 06, youngest position coach in the history of Cal football. A few years later, a lot of success there, a lot of success everywhere you've gone. Now you're back. Is it kind of surreal to you? And when did you start to dream that this could be me that leads this program back to glory?
Yeah, I think those thoughts in my mind as far as a start was, it never left my mindset, So at one point I thought of myself of coaching here for the rest of my life, I put over a decade of time into this between my career, as you mentioned, and becoming a coach here and being on that other side of coaching 6 seasons here. So that never left my mindset, and then again, going on and being a part of some amazing opportunities and being a part of leaders, continuing to form my identity, continuing to grow and improve in every aspect possible. And just a matter of now, the opportunity becoming available. So again, that never left my mindset.
Jesse Miller-Gordon, right for Cal. You just came from 2 very well-organized collegiate programs. And you've been talking about your process. What processes will you be implementing day one when you get in the door?
Yeah, I think it's important that we're going to establish a culture here. And it's really important to me that every individual can define exactly what that means. and what our culture is. And again, with a collaborative effort with Ron, attacking first and foremost, relentless effort. And we're going to define that in a specific way that I'm going to choose not to use all the words that are involved in front of y'all. Okay, but that'll be something that we're going to attack an everyday process of how we go about our business, from the classroom, out on that field, our practice mechanics, nutrition, strength and conditioning, player development, academic support. It's going to be a relentless effort that goes into that. With that, specific to football is implementing and owning what we call ball excellence, and knowing that the most important stat over a 30-year NFL study is protecting and attacking the ball. That's something that we're going to do and never lose sight of. And then the third pillar is what we call our power of unit. And ultimately that's competing and preparing for something much bigger than just yourself, and creating a connected brotherhood that can be an unbreakable culture. So when you put those three pillars together, we're not going to waver from those. We're not going to be changing them from week to week. We're not going to put up new cute posters. It's going to be something that we're going to hang our hats on, and ultimately, some bits and pieces that I've gained from over time from all these leaders, and now our culture, not our culture here that we're going to put together will ultimately dictate the results that you guys will get to go see on Saturdays, and from a graduation rate standpoint, and our gains off the field, and all either our success or demise. So it's something I'm extremely confident in, and it's my job to implement that and permeate it within the whole staff, the players, and push this thing and the principles and values of exactly that culture every day of my life.
Yeah, Jeff Ferrato from Cal Bears on SI. Tosh, obviously you're going to be finishing up your run with the Ducks, and if your team is fortunate enough to keep winning, I believe the national championship game is not until January 19th, which is after the transfer portal ends. Can you just talk about how you're going to balance things between now and then, and wear two hats, and are you going to get any sleep, and how are you going to attack this?
Well, to answer your last question, fortunately, I might be a placebo effect, but I don't think I sleep a whole bunch as far as the psychological or the studies that have been out there of what the 8 hours or whatever it is. So I've already started those habits of not sleeping too much and still functioning at a high level after that, and just what I believe in. So you can blame some of my former leaders for that. And one of them might be sitting right next to me as far as his course of action. I think really fortunate again is being part of the process that you just mentioned in the past. When I was at Alabama, this is exactly what happened with Kirby Smart, the leaders that I've been fortunate to be under. And then Coach Lanning having that experience at the University of Georgia as a first-time head coach coming to Oregon, going through that process with him as well. I was in the National Football League at the time, but kind of tackled some of those duties along with him that he appointed my way. And so having some experience into that firsthand, also some of the offensive coordinators that have left our program, kind of seeing how that's gone about their business to go on to the next chapter of their life. So I think taking from some of their experience, ultimately having this opportunity to go coach in the playoffs yet again is going to be one of the most driving forces for us in our success. There's nothing better to be a part of, a winning culture that I'm blessed to be a part of at this place that I'll be representing in the playoffs. So utilizing that as a driving factor with our recruitment, with our current team, and the excitement of, again, this is simply the result of this blueprint that we can go attack together, with a slight difference, Tosh Lupoi and Ron Rivera spin on it. So every waking second of my life will be devoted to the success of this organization. When I'm away from game planning the opponent that we'll learn, come this Sunday, I believe at 10:30 a.m., we'll learn that we're going to be playing either on the 19th or 20th if we're fortunate to have an opponent, which we're all hoping for, if we do get bumped into the top 4, then we'll experience what we did a season ago, where there's a longer waiting process, with utilizing that bye, and feel like we have a really cool plan in place already to change what we've done in the past there. So I'm going to have my duties just as if I was representing this program, and if I was leaving over my dead body, would I be walking out on the young men and in this organization if given the choice. And so I'm going to finish what we've started there. I'm going to be in strong contact with the players and their families. Sometimes that's going to be via Zoom, FaceTime, a lot of dialogue, and then any opportunity that I get, again within the schedule that's created at the organization that I'm representing, I'll be here. Fortunately, it's about an hour and 42-minute flight, and it's a 7.5-hour drive. Either way, I'm gonna be right here if I get the opportunity, and meeting with our players, and doing everything I humanly possible, to start this mission with these young men that I'm blessed to lead moving forward.
Joaquin Reese with the Daily Californian. Tosh, can you just explain how pumped you were when you found out that this arrangement was a possibility?
Well, yeah, we were busy in a game plan process. We were playing a rivalry game, against the University of Washington, and we had a heck of a November. We had I think three of our 4 opponents, I believe, were all rated in the top 20, and knew we had some work ahead. So my focus was really there, to be honest. And then when the news broke that there was going to be a change of leadership here, obviously, when I wasn't watching film and game planning, 3rd down, short yardage, 2-minute, 2-point play, and early downs, of course my attention was on that, and just hoping, that the opportunity that might come my way, and then it started to become more of a reality, during that process. So it was extremely important for myself, going through this before, being afforded some opportunities in the past to do this the right way and make sure that I balanced what was most important of my game plan, my duties, under the leadership that at the University of Oregon, and to do that the right way. So I was really fortunate under Coach Lanning's leadership and Rob Mullins, again, of guiding me a little bit of when those opportunities could happen. And unfortunately, again, for my amazing wife, that really existed on Thursday nights, which is family night, and we sacrificed that time to kind of explore the process here, in the reality. And as I alluded to before, I got great respect of how thorough that process was, talking to Rich Lyons and Ron on multiple occasions, multiple Zooms, from that point on, and here we are. So I think pump's an understatement, if you can't quite tell my voice.
Thomas, California. Tosh, you've hinted at it already, but everybody has their own unique relationship with their alma mater. Why was it important for you to take this opportunity at this time in your life?
Well, it's something you never lose sight of, you never lose track in. I mean, from the day I played here to today, I can't tell you how many multiple text threads I am. They're diehard Cal Golden Bears, and how we feel about this place. Having Ron Rivera, having Rich Lyons, having myself, you talk about the alignment, this opportunity now, seeing already the improvement that's existed here, just behind the scenes, in my opinion, over even just the last 7-8 years, Ron coming aboard here, again, that fires me up. I think that fires everybody up, So to know I could be a part of this and be a part of that, the leadership vision, is a no-brainer for me. So, and in fact, it put me in the position where I was kind of given some ultimatums about the other job opportunities, that I had to take them, or they were going to move on. And some of those were really cool opportunities that I was excited about, to be honest. knowing that this was a true possibility. I was never guaranteed this job. I was never taken. I didn't have a form of communication with him. I don't believe a single time, I mean, other than my father, echoing to me that he was a GA and he coached Ron Rivera. I had to verify that, I think, last year or something, or in the summer. And then it became a real reality. So when that happened, it was like, all right. And I discussed that with my wife. So we're going to say no to some really cool opportunities here because they're giving me an ultimatum. And sure enough, through the good Lord and the leadership here, it has worked out.
Jane Kenny, San Francisco Standard. My question's for Ron, kind of opposite perspective on the same thing. You said in there that the process of this started about 6 days ago. What was that initial conversation and pitch like, and how has it unfolded throughout the week?
Well, the process to hire Tosh started 6 days ago. The whole process started once I made the decision to part ways with Justin. I've always known about Tosh's desire to come home, and that was one of the things that was really exciting to me because it really wasn't, hey, I want a head coaching job. No, I want to be the head coach at the University of California, Berkeley. That to me was telling in itself. But I had to do the process in my own mind because I had to be satisfied. I didn't want to do something just because he wanted it. I wanted to do something because I know he earned it. And that's one of the things that I found really neat about him. Everything he's done, he's earned. I talked to multiple coaches that he's worked for as well. And when you talk to them, the first thing they talk about is his passion. And that to me was very, very important because when you heard him talk about what it means to have been in it, to be part of this, to know what it's like to walk up that hill, to go to class and compete there, and then come out on the football field and compete. That's important. That to me is what passion's all about. And so as I got to know it and understand it, and I sat down with the chancellor, I sat down with the two co-ADs as well. I think Jenny and Jay did a tremendous job in working with me to help me feel good about it as well. So once I did, we sat down, talked to the chancellor, and said, look, I've made some tremendous phone calls, some real interesting people of high character, high value, talked about Tosh in the right way, the way that we needed to make sure that this is exactly what we're getting. And once I knew that, again, like I said, then the process started in earnest. Reached out to them, told them we're interested. Now we start interviewing, now we start talking by Zoom. I didn't know you could Zoom at any time. And one night he calls me and says, hey, I thought we weren't supposed to do this till Thursday. No, we can do it anytime. There's really no rules or anything around this, I guess, and that's the unfortunate part. But to Tosh's point also, and I want to make sure that Coach Dan Lanning knows how much I appreciated him. I called him for permission. I didn't know I didn't have to do that, but I did. And he granted, we had a great conversation. He spoke very highly of Tosh as well. So there were so many good things that were being said, but they just weren't goody flowery. They were substance, and they were about who he was and who he is and who he's become. That to me was important. Nick Saban said it best. I got a chance to go see him at last year's college game day. You guys, he went to practice. They gave him a call sheet, and it was like he had to go back to work. But he said he watched Tosh and he saw the player, the coach that he always believed he could be. That to me is exciting. That's Nick Saban, and that really made me feel really positive about that as well. So it was a process. We spent 4 days in a row, myself and our two co-athletic directors, trying to get this done and get it done right. I missed a meal each day. That was kind of rough on me, but it was one of those things that needed to be done. And we really wanted to do it right because, again, I represent the University of California. As Tosh said, we represent the University of California, and it has to be done. It has to be done the right way.
What's next? Matt Lively, CBS Sports Media in the back here. Tosh, congratulations. Playing on some great Cal teams. How excited are you to get it back to that level? And also, do you plan on having some of your former teammates around the facility involved in the program?
Yeah, I think I didn't have a choice today. It's about 40, 50, 60 strong maybe, which is just fired me up walking on the field. And because, obviously it's been a busy time. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I was up till 2:30 a.m. last night recruiting, some possible opportunities and got on an early flight here but to see that, was really cool. I didn't have a lot of communication with those guys, and to see them show up. So 24/7, this place is there's gonna be some access with Golden Bears here. And to have these guys around at practice, to have their juice, game day, off season, that's what I'm gonna challenge them to. I better not just see you on game day, come around this process. So really cool, really exciting. As you alluded to, I was fortunate where I was a part of multiple 10-win seasons, truly competing for conference championships, and something we took a lot of pride in. Multiple first-round draft picks during that time, whether I played next to them or contributed to the development to them. The guys like Tyson Alualu, Cameron Jordan, and so many more to this day. And what's so cool about this is the guys that weren't the first-round draft picks, like an Austin Clark or whoever it be, that probably had no chance playing in the NFL, but having just as strong as those relationships that carry on for a lifetime, being a Golden Bear. So ultimately, the way we attack the process, okay, and the way we implement our culture, that's going to be your answer. So I wholeheartedly believe in how we go about our business in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, puts us in a line to be able to execute when it comes to the season, okay, and you're going to get your answer. And I'm really confident in that answer based off of how we attack that. So you can come back in August, right, or somewhere around there, and I'm going to be blunt and obvious with you. Okay, if we got a bunch of problems and we're not going about our business, then that's going to tell me, everything of the direction we're headed. But that's also my job to implement, permeate, and enforce, the principles and values of this place. And it's been a blueprint that's been pretty darn successful. So we're about to find out, how it works here.
Kyle No from the Daily Californian. What is, for both of you guys, what is the message to the student fan base in particular, especially those that might not be in the thick of college football and may not know exactly what Tosh is going to bring to this program?
You want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. For me, it's come out and see what we got. I really do believe that. If you're going to miss an opportunity to really get involved, this is really about the student athlete, the student body, because this is also part of the student experience. It's an opportunity to get involved in the community and see what the excitement is all about. I'd love to see them come back in force. I'd love to see them be part of what we're trying to do. Again, this really is about the community as well. So hopefully they'll show up in mass.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, no matter what I say, right, it's going to be based off of my actions, and I'm a man of action. So no different than being on that exact field right there and being tasked to defend Reggie Bush in space. Wasn't really fired up about that. In a triple overtime game, beating USC, okay, or going across the bay and knocking the quarterback out of the game and holding that axe after, the same actions that take place then and the same improved version of me, that's what I'm going to go about my business every day. So, we're going to get everybody involved. The standard that I was used to and that was conducted here when I played here was that stadium was absolutely rocking. Okay, and I've coached. I've been fortunate as the D coordinator to shut out Joe Burrow at LSU, play multiple games in the loudest environments. Obviously, every weekend at the University of Oregon, at Washington. This environment right here, okay, can be absolutely rocking, speaking from experience. And that's where we got to get it. So those things are fun, right? Do you like going to games that are rocking and loud?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. So I mean, it's we've got to establish and create that identity, right? And once we do that, then we earn the right for more and more fans to pour in here and get behind something that they believe in ultimately. So as much as I can and be a part of this community, we're going to be doing a lot of things around here, and being involved, again, in my home, whether it's going back to 28th and Myrtle, right there in the West O, okay, going back to Yorktown, where I've spent a lot of summers, okay, right here in Berkeley, Walnut Creek, Concord. I'm gonna be highly involved in this community and doing a lot of things here and demanding of our players, and I think that ultimately brings in a lot of people that want to join us and be a part of it. So that's where we're headed. That's what I'm going to do, and that's going to be my actions.
This is for Ron Karchik from the San Francisco Chronicle. How many candidates did you talk to for this opening, and what? The chancellor was very clear, it was his word, that Tosh was the right man for the job, and this was the right time, as he put it. Why? What made him the clear choice to you, and what makes him such a elite recruiter, as people say?
Well, probably the biggest thing, again, going back to the why, is the alignment. I mean, the timing of this was about as good as it gets. You have a guy that's available, first of all, who has an elite record, a tremendous background, has worked for the right kind of people, the right kind of programs. For me, it's one of those things that here's a guy that knows what it looks like. And that's probably one of the most important things, is knowing exactly what it looks like. And to me, that's one of the things that I'm going to really able to really work with Tosh, because I've been fortunate to be part of some of those types of programs as well. We'll have a lot of ideas and thoughts to share, but at the end of the day, it really is about the process. The thing I really enjoyed about today was when we came in this morning, Tosh got in front of the team and he set the standards. He set what the expectations are, and they're high. And that's really what makes him, I think, the perfect pick for where we are at this point in time. We're at the precipice of taking another step. We've gotten to a certain point. Now we can continue to climb. The thing that's really also helped, has been really great, has been the engagement recently of a lot of our alums and donors. I think these folks also see the vision. They see Tosh's vision, which is really important, because again, we all have to buy into how he wants things done. And that's something, as he said, we're going to evaluate, we're going to look for those people, and those people that want to be part of what we're doing, those people that do the things the right way, okay, they'll get an opportunity to stay. From that point on, it's up to them. If they do their jobs, do them the way they need to be done, that gives us an opportunity to be successful. If not, we've got to make changes, and that's the truth. That's just a matter of football.
Can you give us a sense of how many people you talked to?
We had a number of them, because they varied, because, we'd have a list and all of a sudden somebody would be gone, so I'd have to call someone else. So, to talk about a number, I don't think is a fair thing to do, but just know at the end of the day, he was the one that we chose because he's the one we believe in. And this is the guy that we want to trust our program with, get up in front of our players, motivate them, inspire them, give them direction, coach them up, and put them on the football field, let them compete. That's what we're looking for, that kind of a man.
Kyle Bonner with ESPN. Tosh, as you were going through the interview process, what were the conversations about Cal's ability to compete in NIL, and then where do you expect that capability to stack up within the ACC?
Yeah, I think one, it's already proven that it's improved dramatically. So I think ultimately that there's an extreme upward trend, in my opinion, when Ron Rivera showed up here, and that trend is I mean, I know that for a fact, so I'll just put it that way, okay? I was to the point where I was gonna start donating to the NIL here. So, all right, and that wasn't the feeling of requirement anymore. So there was a stimulation there, which fired me up, fired a lot of people up. And I think the recognition of ultimately a lot of these teams in an extremely competitive, excellent conference, okay, they don't have the founders of Dreyer's Ice Cream, Levi Strauss Jeans, Olukai. Okay, I could go on for a long time right now. They don't, there's a lot of individuals that are excited about this, but we have an extremely powerful fan base, an extremely powerful organization here that our branches extend much further than most. So whether all those individuals have been motivated or cared to, we're gonna find that out, and I know I will personally devote everything humanly possible, with Ron, to tap into the individuals that would love to be a part of our success and contribute to that. And ultimately, in this day of NIL, in my opinion, I believe a place like Cal, and there's a couple other places out there that are kind of proving this right now, when you're amongst an area of multiple Fortune 500 companies, and you have a high-level alumni base that have been extremely successful in life, you have got an incredibly competitive chance to be successul when you get the backing that can contribute to the NIL, the real NIL, and all the details, of that era. So that's tremendously exciting to me. I think there's a lot of people that are motivated to be a part of this, and I'm going to be challenging, everybody. Let's go do this together. Again, it's not just going to be me up here. This is going to be based off of, this is going to be our culture, a collaborative effort, and I'm calling out all Golden Bears. I had multiple conversations up there, individuals that I've known for, a long time, best friends, and every one of my conversations say, hey, our relationship might change. Okay, how much money you put into this program? Kind of laughed, and I said, I'm not laughing. So maybe we will. But it's exciting, to have that firepower, that capability, in my opinion, of just what's out there. And again, knowing firsthand experience how it's already dramatically improved since Ron's been here, and Rich Lyons and the alignment there. And I'm hoping to add to that juice.
And just quickly to his point, I'm going to brag a little bit, but we are fully funded as far as our rev share program is for this coming year. So as he said, we've been able to generate it. He's helping to even generate even more, and that's what's exciting about this opportunity. And again, to the previous question, that's what the alignment does for us. Okay, the chancellor, the general manager, the head coach, we are all aligned and it's all headed in the right direction.
Jeff, right in front.
Tosh, the question that every Cal fan wants to know is, how confident are you that you'll keep your quarterback?
Well, I hope dearly that our quarterback, he's already established himself here quite a bit as far as I'm talking off the field. The leadership, the relationships, just doing my research and homework on him. So I'm extremely excited to meet Jaron, meet the family, and start that process with them. I have not been afforded the opportunity to have any individual meetings yet with any players. So got a cool opportunity to see the whole team today, and just absolutely pumped, to attack this process together. So hoping that opportunity is afforded immediately to have some individual meetings, and then for every individual in this program, man, really laying out the direction we're headed, where we're going. I think something that I'm extremely blessed for is to offer, in that regards, is a different approach from being a defensive head coach, and again being tutored under the leaders like Coach Saban did with Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, to see that firsthand in that process, and like we have, where myself and Coach Lanning, where Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, now Dante Moore, we have a process where these guys come in, and I love meeting with those guys. And so that was something really cool that both myself and Will Stein, we would challenge our defensive players to go into them individually, and the quarterbacks to come into my office and to see things from the perspective that I do. Again, going back to the success based off of the individuals that I was blessed to coach this year, and the elite staff that I'm a part of. We relinquished the least amount of points since 1966 for an Oregon defense, right? And a trending record of being on a back-to-back top 10 defense, just like Coach Lanning was at Georgia, like I was at the University of Alabama. To be able to offer that to the offensive players, from a safety rotation standpoint, a star location standpoint, the tempo variables, how we see unbalanced and formation in the boundary, the things that we approach, right, that have garnished our success from a defensive standpoint, how a quarterback can see that and how that can raise the level of play from him. Having personal relationships with Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, some of the best quarterbacks in the game, having a tutoring of those guys too, and having a peer perspective where I'm going to challenge and have every one of those guys that I just asked, those guys are going to be a part of JKS's life moving forward, and then ultimately the coaches. I mean, literally right now, it feels like I have like one of Mr. Novak's vibration machines on my leg right now, okay, because that's the text messages that are coming in from NFL high-level coaches and coaches at the best programs in the country that want to come work here. You know, I think JKS has something to do with that. I think Ron Rivera has something to do with that. Hopefully I have a little something to do with that. And, you know, what a cool opportunity here to already be at a place, right, that one represents the #1 public institution in America. So regardless of how any football career pans out, okay, what that means from the entity that he wants to attack when football is done with, right? The doors that will be opened here because of the University of California, but also, okay, to be at a place where multiple first-round draft picks have specifically came at that position, and every one of those guys, including Jared Goff, who's hit me up multiple occasions today, Aaron Rodgers, Kyle Bowler, you know, just a couple names, right? Some maybe Mr. Pawlowski, if we can get him involved, right? There's a lot of guys here that are lining up, you know, to be a part of this and be a part of that process too with JKS, and I think that's a really cool package. So we shall see.
Real quick follow, if I can. What's your timetable for having a coaching staff assembled?
It's already started, so that process has started. I've interviewed 3 coaches, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, right now, and that was in the last 24 hours. That are a part of some organizations that everybody is going to recognize in this room, playing for some really cool things. So that process has already started, and we will not make that a process that needs to be hustled by any means. Again, myself and Ron thoroughly going through anybody and everybody that we feel can improve this organization and ultimately be a part of the resources and the leadership that we, you know, to provide some success for us moving forward. So we're not going to be in some realm. I mean, right now, you know, again, pretty soon here, I'm going to be jumping on a plane and we're going to be finding out the opponent that we're playing in the playoffs. Cal is going to, under the leadership of an excellent coach, Nick Rolovich, is going to go attack the Hawaii Bowl. You know, again, every waking moment is going to be devoted to things like that, you know, and that goes back to me in the same category of talent acquisition. That doesn't just mean players. That means elite, high-level, motivated coaches. They're going to come in and give these guys everything they got, like myself.
Tosh, touching a little bit more on the staffing decisions, is it helpful to you to have support staff and maybe a coach or 2 or 3 be a bridge between the existing program and what you'll be building? Or are you looking at just building something totally new?
I think it's extremely important that our culture needs to be permeated, you know, and the principles and values of our culture every day here. And ultimately, we're going to decide, you know, does an individual qualify to do that, you know, if he does, and we feel like he's the absolute best, whether that comes from the staff that's here or a new staff, that's how the decisions are going to be made, in my opinion, as long as Ron supports that. So being extremely thorough in evaluating every coach, and to be quite honest, I'm not very interested into having a whole bunch of long-winded meetings with a bunch of coaches. I'm going to find that out through the recruits and through the players and through the people that I trust most here, of who the strongest connectors are, who the strongest recruiters are, and who the strongest motivators are, along with the strategic excellence. So, you know, that's what we're on the mission to do.
Stephanie Baton, Daily California. Throughout these last few questions, you've placed an emphasis on building up Cal leadership. I'm curious what qualities you're looking for in these coaches.
Yeah, I want to, for me, somebody that's provides great juice with content. What I mean by that is I want a high level energy out there. I think passion, is contagious, you know, and however, it's I don't want a single coach on our staff that's a guy that's just yelling to yell, you know. The next time I walk into the team meeting, you know, there will already be some changes, okay, and that's one where every single young man in there will be required to have a notebook in his hand and or an iPad, okay, and every one of them are going to be taking notes. I'm never going to go up in front of that team so I can hear myself talk, right? My goal every single day is going to be provided content, okay, and it's going to be a requirement that we take notes, just like myself. When I listened to Ron Rivera on Zoom, okay, I was right there taking notes. No matter how this worked out, this is an opportunity for me to grow. This is a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, okay? And I'm gonna take some things from him, just like I did already. So the vision, again, is someone that's believes in and has a growth mindset. So any coach that's here currently that has a fixed mindset, I would invite him to go into the coaching portal, okay? So I want the guys on our staff, the support staff, the coaching staff, and every single player to be built off of a growth mindset, okay? That we are all, myself included, on a quest to improve. Ultimately, why I'm so passionate about this profession is I literally know for sure I can wake up every day of my life and improve. And that's exactly what I've done, you know, and that's exactly for my course of my career, is been on that quest. And again, ultimately what was extremely attractive here is the leadership that's here in place, that I can add to that and continue that growth mindset.
Anything else? All right, thank you.